Hi, in this lesson, we're learning about QR codes so that teachers can give students extra resources easily just by clicking a barcode. Hi, I'm Angel from RT Course Experts, and we help creative online course teachers with their tech. In this lesson, we're going to go over QR codes for teachers and students. We're going to go over what is it, why use it, a how-to guide. We're going to go into an example and wrap up. First of all, QR codes are short for quick response codes, QR codes, quick response codes. What is it? So it's a 2D barcode image that mobile phones can scan to instantly open up a website URL. Now, why would teachers use it? Teachers or trainers can use QR codes to send students to their services and resources. You can create many QR codes. Some QR codes could go to your website or your course system or your community, or it could be very specific, like a QR code could teach a very specific thing and take a student to a specific training video or a specific resource PDF. So let's get into the specifics of QR codes. First of all, QR codes are a small square image, just like barcodes, that have data. So just like a regular barcode that you would see at a store where the person working the cash register can scan any product and immediately convert those vertical bars into a SKU or a shopkeeping unit or a product number. And then the register can look it up in the database and know the price and adjust the inventory and all that sort of stuff. So QR codes have an image that phones and other QR code readers can read that will then map it to some other data. So often, teachers will be using a QR code to map to a URL. And you can make multiple QR codes. So you can have one for your website, one for your course, or one for a very specific video. The QR code can also contain other data, like text that might have a coupon code. It's up to you what resource you want to show and associate with your QR code. As a teacher, you could create a QR code for free. You basically go to some website, there's a whole bunch of them, and you say, I want to create a QR code. You then provide the URL, you give it some style information like what color, and then you download it. And before you know it, you have a PNG file or a JPEG file that can be used, and you can put that anywhere you want. And whenever people use it, they can get to your web resource. Now, these days, phones or even dedicated QR reader apps can look at a QR code and extract the URL, and then they'll just say, hey, do you want to launch the browser? Do you want to see the PDF? Do you want to access the web page that this QR code provides? So basically, you take the phone, you point it at a QR code, and it detects it right away, and then it pops up an overlay, says, hey, you want to check out this resource. And then you click OK, and then it'll launch it. Now, QR codes can be static or dynamic. So if they're static, that means the QR code is built with one website in mind. So when you created the QR code, whenever they open this QR code, it's going to go to a certain website. Or it could be dynamic, which means it changes over time. So for example, you can have a QR code for your latest webinar or your latest lead magnet that has the top 10 ways to do something for this year. And so every year you might redirect it, but the QR code stays the same because maybe it's on a book. Or so by being dynamic, when somebody looks at that QR code and they launch the thing, it first checks with a database, and then after that, it goes to the latest place that you want to send your students. When you're dynamic, you can also get stats, so you can find out how many people actually looked at my QR code. QR codes can be styled. So, yeah, they're this kind of interesting robotic square shape with some pixels, but you can style it with the colors of your brand. You can style the frame, the shapes. Are they dots or little boxes? You can even put your logo in the middle of a QR code, or you can wrap the QR code in some other design. So you have some flexibility when designing your QR codes. As a teacher, you can use your QR codes for lots of different things. You can have your QR code point to all your courses or just a specific course. Maybe it's your community. Maybe it's your community that you want them to access on a mobile phone. So the QR code actually launches the mobile app on their phone. It could be pointing to a coaching offer that's available on your website, resources like a PDF or books, or even one or more of your social networks. Or you can even take your students to an email subscription form or even webinars. So you can use it for a wide range of things. And so it's good to have a handful of these QR codes that you can use in different situations. So let's check out an example. In this example, we'll go over how a teacher and a student will use a QR code. So first of all, the teacher creates a QR code and publishes it. So they visit a QR site like QR Code Monkey or some other website. There's lots of websites where teachers can go. You just Google it and you'll find lots of QR creation web tools. As a teacher, you go and you enter the URL. So maybe in this case, we're going to enter the URL to your YouTube channel where you have smaller tutorials compared to the bigger tutorials in your courses. So you enter the URL of your YouTube channel. Try to enter the vanity URL instead of just the long string of URL user ID numbers. Next, you specify your brand color. So instead of just taking maybe a default black, you go ahead and use your theme colors, like maybe you're a purple or a gold or a red or whatnot. Then you specify some styling things for your QR code. There's sort of like this outer frame. There's these three little boxes that show up. You can style those in some ways. So maybe you like hard edges or rounded edges, etc. So you can choose those kinds of things for your QR code. You also have the option to add a logo. Maybe your academy has a small logo. Maybe it's not the words, but it's a symbol. It's a small graphic and you want to put it in the middle of your QR code. So you have the option to upload a PNG, a transparent PNG that can sit in the middle of your QR code. Once you've done all that, you can then download your QR code. And some of the websites might make you register and then they email it to you. But nevertheless, you're going to download that PNG and you're going to have it. So at that point, as a teacher, you can use that QR code and put it in a variety of places. So in this case, a teacher is going to add this QR code to a resource. Maybe they have a book, an ebook, or maybe it's a physical book that's delivered by Amazon. So they're going to put the QR code on different chapters or at the end of the book to get more resources. So that's it. So as a teacher, you created your QR code for a certain destination. In this case, it's your YouTube channel. And then you entered all the information and you got the QR code and then you put it somewhere that students will see. So that's it from a teacher's point of view. Next up is from the student's point of view. So a student, let's just say that they are going to use the QR code to get more resources. So the student goes and either buys or downloads a toy design book that you sell. So the student is reading the chapters and they're on this one chapter all about wooden toys. So at the end of the chapter, in addition to the step-by-step text and the photos that are in your book, you provide a QR code that lets them see exactly how you created that wooden toy. Or maybe it has extra information. Maybe it's access this QR code here to see all the tools that we used to create this wooden toy. So you can go ahead and put that QR code at the end of the chapter, or it could be at the end of the book, and it could be a high level thing. Remember, in this case, we use the QR code for the YouTube channel. But if you wanted to, you could actually create dozens of QR codes, one for each chapter if you wanted. And then when they click on that QR code, it launches a video specific for that chapter, or you could do it for your book. Up to you. You now have this QR code tool, right? Basically, when the student gets to that section, they're going to use their camera and they're going to scan the QR code. As soon as they do, the camera is going to detect that there's a QR code, and either automatically or with the student's permission, it's going to say, hey, would you like to open this web page? If the student says yes and clicks allow, then it's going to launch the YouTube video. So they didn't have to go and enter and search YouTube, or maybe get distracted and end up at somewhere else. So they didn't have to enter a very long series to get to your specific YouTube page. They just clicked on that QR code and voila, they opened up your YouTube channel for your academy. So then the student goes and watches the video. They could do it in parallel while they're flipping through the book, or they can be on their phone. And at that point, you've now taken them to your YouTube property so they can subscribe, or they can open up the resources, see the other comments that are there. They can click on other things, or maybe your YouTube videos all have metadata, which have other links, maybe affiliate links or coupon codes, or maybe that's where you offer your coaching, your courses. And so at that point, you've taken your students that were on this resource, you expanded them so that they can have access to your other teaching resources. So QR codes are great for long URLs where they're complicated, a bunch of numbers like a YouTube channel, or really long, maybe you have a long domain name, and then in addition to that, slash the name of some very long PDF resource that you might have. So QR codes are great. You just click it and you get to that website. And also, QR codes are great when you have students that are in the physical world and you need to get them to the digital world. So in this example, we had a student with a book, and from that book, they use a QR code to get to all your online properties. So now you're a lot smarter on QR codes. They're very simple to create. The main thing is you're going to specify a URL and you're going to download that PNG, and then you're going to put that QR code in a variety of places that you need. And if you need to, you can make several QR codes for your website, your course, your community, your coaching, etc. To learn more, check out the info and links in the notes. If you're loving this stuff, subscribe to keep leveling up your creative business. And if you need any tech help with your courses, community, or teacher website, visit www.rtcourseexperts.com. Thanks for hanging out. Let's stay in touch.